Hello, sports fans. It's your dedicated nerd, Mully, doing another DraftKings dumpster dive for you in Week 6. Idea here is to help you try and find some value plays, some cheap plays for your DraftKings lineup in Week 6. Helps you save some cap space and get those studs that you need to get in your lineup so you can take down a tournament, hopefully win, and see yourself at the top of the leaderboard. If you're not familiar with how it works, basically I'm going to go scouring the bottom of the barrel to try and find you the cheapest guys that you can use safely to get in your lineup and hopefully get you some production and get you again at the top of the leaderboard. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's see. We got guess we'll start with the quarterback this week. Andy Dalton. Now, the one thing I'd say about quarterback this week is I probably would try and steer clear, especially if you're in a GPP, of really going too much of a value play here, and that's why Andy Dalton's my value play is 6,500. Not an immense value there, but he does have a decent matchup against Carolina, which is the 23rd ranked defense right now against opposing quarterbacks. The one caveat here is he's going to be without A.J. Green. I know he's been without Marvin Jones and Tyler Eifert for some time, but A.J. Green aggravated his toe injury. Looks like he's not going to be playing. So, that being said, that does downgrade Dalton's prospects a bit, but Sanu has filled in marvelously in his absence when Green hasn't been able to play, and Giovanni Bernard's been excellent this year for him as well. So I see Dalton still being able to have a productive day against what's not been a great Carolina defense over the past couple of weeks. But again, if you're trying to get yourself to the top of the leaderboard, I think this week's the week you probably don't want to go with the value at the quarterback position and maybe go chalk and stick with somebody higher up the list, if you know what I mean. All right, drink a lot of soda. Looks like we got a wide receiver up next. All right, we got Andre Roberts for wide receiver this week. Now, Andre Roberts is going up against Arizona, and Arizona, while they have a decent defense, he's a great play at $3,200. Here's the deal. In the past 4 weeks, he's been getting 6.3 targets per game, and that's pretty decent when you figure that he is the third wide receiver option on that team behind Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson. Now, what I expect to happen this week is I expect Patrick Peterson to follow one of those two around a little bit more, which should lead to potentially some more opportunity for Roberts. And I think it's going to be a pretty good game anyways. Arizona just lost Calais Campbell on defense, and I think that right now they're in a little bit of a turmoil, especially with everything that's been going on offensively as well. So I think Andre Roberts could really have a nice game here, and at $3,200, he saves you a heck of a lot of cap space. All right. Speeding ticket. I'll get rid of that. All right, tight ends up next. Clay Harbor, also $3,200 this week. Going up against Tennessee, who's not been great on defense. And quite honestly, Clay Harbor wasn't real impressive last week. 3 catches for 22 yards and wasn't a great week for him. But I do expect that to change, and especially given the lack of other options. I mean, Cecil Shorts has been day-to-day. Marquise Lee has been declared out for this game. So really, there's not a lot of other options there. And then, of course, Mercedes Lewis has been out for some time. So all of that compounded, it leads to potentially more opportunities for Harbor. And when you've got a defense that's giving up the eighth most points to opposing tight ends, I really like his prospects. And Bortles has more time under center and is going to continue to improve. And as he continues to prove, so does the prospects for the rest of his offensive weapons. So Harbor could be a pretty decent start at $3,200 this week up against that Tennessee defense. All right, what else we got here? Ooh, running back. A little later than usual this time, huh? Joique Bell's my guy this week, $3,700. And this is largely contingent upon the injury report, and a lot of that is what happens. Now, if Reggie Bush is able to play for whatever reason, I may downgrade Bell a little bit, but I still think that he's going to get the majority of touches. You've also got Calvin Johnson, who's likely going to be held out with his high ankle sprain. Take both of those options away, and that means that not only is Bell going to be highly involved carrying the ball, as you would typically expect when he's healthy, but he's also going to get a fair share of looks out of the backfield just because of the lack of other receiving options, so he's going to be more involved in the passing game as well. Now, it looks like Theo Riddick may be back this week, and that could result in limiting his touches by just a bit, but I still anticipate him having a pretty decently productive day, especially against the Vikings defense that, let's face it, hasn't been great. All right, last up this week, we've got our defense. Now, this is another pick that's really contingent upon injuries, and this is the Redskins. And I'm picking the Redskins against the Arizona Cardinals because of the quarterback situation. Now, over the past few weeks, we're probably familiar with what's been going on with Carson Palmer, how he's had a dead nerve apparently in his throwing shoulder, and it's really limited his ability to do much of anything with that arm. Now you compound that with the fact that Drew Stanton just had a concussion last week, and they're down to their third string quarterback, which is Logan Thomas. Now, the one thing I would say is that Drew Stanton is trying to get cleared to play on Sunday, and it looks like that may actually be the case. Now, if that does actually occur, then I would, again, possibly downgrade the Redskins a bit. But as the second cheapest defense, they represent great value given the circumstances that surround that entire offensive unit for Arizona right now. Even if Carson Palmer were to come back to play, which it doesn't look likely because head coach Bruce Arians has said that he'd like him to get at least one full practice in so far this week, and thus far that has not happened. So it doesn't look like he's going to be playing, but in the event that Carson Palmer were to start, I think I'd still even feel safe there just because I imagine he's going to be fairly rusty from the lack of activity that he's had over the past few weeks. So there you have it, sports fans. Those are your value picks, your dumpster dive for this week. Go out there and stick these guys in your lineup, save you some cap space, and get your studs out there. So hopefully you can find yourself at the top of the leaderboard. Well, at the second spot on the leaderboard because, once again, I hope to be on top. Good luck in week 6, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.